Amazing. Okay, so I'm Amanda, and this is Wellness Me Up. This is where we talk about the weird, wise, and wildly supportive sides of wellness with coaches that you can actually connect with when you are done pretending that everything is fucking fine in your life. Today, I am joined by Danae Jensen, who is a plant medicine and healing guide. And I asked Danae to sum up their approach to wellness in just a couple of sentences. And here's what they said. We all have an innate source of healing power within us. My job is to help people access theirs. So let's see if what Danae has to share with us can help you get a little bit more wellness up. There we go, Danae. Hello, hello.
Hello. Thank you so much, Amanda, for that lovely intro.
You're welcome. What I love is getting onto these podcasts and having our sidebar chats in the beginning. And Danae is sipping on really wonderful tea that I learned that she made. So I think that that's pretty fucking cool. As you see the cup come up. I have a water bottle going on today. I have no tea, but I'm staring at a Tim Hortons and I kept wondering if I should have gone in there to get a green tea, but it won't taste as good as whatever you are making.
Oh,
So,
not
my
even
gosh.
close.
Yeah, this tea, the best green tea that I've ever found in my life has been in Portugal. And this past time, I actually got the cafe that makes it to give me some in a bag. So now, anytime I'm here in Ontario or Canada and hanging out while I'm missing until I get back across the pond, I can make myself a cup of that tea to just transport myself back there. Oh, it's so good. It's
Oh, that's
amazing.
great. Hot drinks are my comfort foods. Like when I go away, I bring chai, cacao, my tea, my coffee. I bring all the drinks.
Cacao. I love that you said cacao that you brought this. So I've done this once. That is so warm in the belly and it's so good. And I've actually, when I did, and so plant medicine, we're going to talk about this shit today, guys. I did a plant medicine journey once, a few years ago, psilocybin, and it was, they started that whole retreat weekend with cacao, like doing a cacao ceremony. Do you do this too?
I don't do cacao ceremonies because I do the tea ceremonies. I do a lot of tea ceremonies, what I call plant spirit
Okay.
circles. But I have a friend down island from me, and she has a beautiful cacao business, and she has the best cacao I've ever had. So she's my source.
Oh, so good. That is incredible to have a source. Ah, amazing. I love that.
Mhm.
Okay. So people might start get a feeling and a vibe of what area of wellness you might support people in because we've talked a little bit about plant in that introduction. But I typically in this podcast I talk about 6 areas of wellness, which pretty much just feels like fucking life and all the things that we're trying to navigate out there. So there's spiritual wellness, relationship wellness, emotional, mental health wellness, physical wellness, there's life transitions, identity wellness, and then, of course, financial and purpose wellness. So, really curious for listeners out there, what one of those areas or any of those areas do you support people with? And then how do you support them as they navigate all the wellness things on that journey?
As you can imagine, plant medicine, like what I'm doing is psychedelic assisted therapy. So that type of deep healing really hits all the areas of life. But I would say it's probably the mental and emotional well-being that is the biggest area of those six, followed then by spirituality. But it really depends on the person's intention when they're coming to see me. A lot of times, though, the people who show up at my door are kind of at their last rope. They're, feeling a bit hopeless. They've probably tried a lot of different things already, like talk therapy, all sorts of different things. And so they're really in a place of, down in the pits of mental health and have a lot of emotional processing or unpacking to do.
There is so much that can happen here, right? Like my brain just gets totally fucking lit up when like without all of the people that I've had on this podcast, all the people that are applying to come onto it, hearing what you're doing specifically with plant, sometimes people reach that end, right? And they're like, I don't even know what it is that I want to change, how it is I want to move forward, what it is I want to do. And
Mhm.
so when they kind of figure out Danae and they're like, oh, plant medicine, psychedelics, like could I do something like this? When they come to you, how is it and they're feeling that way? How do you meet them in that moment?
It's great. That's a great place to show up at my door, actually. And that's how most people do. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what I need. Something has to change. I can't take it anymore, right? Like I can't take this anymore, but I don't know what I need. And I say wonderful, because the truth is that healing happens right now in this moment. So right now, in this moment, here and now, in the present, holds just as much power as all of your past and all of your future. So anything that happened in the past, all the bad things that may have happened to a person, or the experiences they've had, or the conditioning that has shaped them, that made them lose their way, they show up lost. They show up like, I don't know what's wrong. And most times we don't, because we just live in a wounded society that, like, let's just face it, we're living in a society of trauma, right? So even just existing in this society creates a negative conditioning that gets people away from themselves. So they don't understand. They're like, sometimes they're like, nothing bad has even ever happened to me, and I'm still feeling this way. And they show up at the door, and I say, that's great, because we're going to lean into how you are right now. What are the sensations in your body? What parts of you are raising their hand and saying, "Hey, can you look at me right now?" And we follow the thread. There's a lot of divine action here, right? So when you step into healing like this, I say that you're setting in motion a divine unfolding, because it's like all of the parts within you understand that you are about to embark on deep healing, and there's a sigh of relief, and they all start saying, okay, who's next? Who's me? I need this. I need to be attended to first. And we just follow the thread. So that's a great way to show up.
It is a great way to show up. And I also like that the word choice that you used was wonderful. Because like when shit starts to fall apart for a lot of us, like we can think, oh my gosh, the demolition, like it's happening. I can't take anymore. What's going on? But there is something wonderful about that. And it sometimes people will be like, is that insensitive to say? Like, because I'll say good almost when things are fucking falling apart for people, because I think they're supposed to. This is not working for a reason, and something is going on here, and it is supposed to fall apart. But you get an opportunity now to choose something different, you get an opportunity to learn something different, and you're going to change because of this. So this whole healing right now thing that you said, and it's wonderful. And like the lean in piece, I really like is lighting up my brain a lot, because sometimes when shit starts falling apart for a lot of people in our lives, something crumbles, a job, we get terminated from a job, a relationship breaks down, we leave a family, like whatever is happening for us in our lives, a pet dies, something like this, right? Something that just happens and crumbles us. We can want to grasp onto things and hold on to things so tightly, and we like our intuition is like pull, like let's pull, let's keep getting this for us. But I like how you phrase that as let's lean into this. Let's actually find where this is happening and follow that thread. Is that how you worded that? That thread down. Like let's get into where that's coming from. Maybe there's a knot somewhere that we can untangle a little bit. Let's follow this path and get curious and lean into it, right? Because a lot of times people want to pull away, but if we lean into it, it's a little different. And a way to lean into this is to do a journey with plan.
That's right. I feel like we're on the same page there with that. Like, it can feel a bit insensitive sometimes, and sometimes I apologize for my excitement, because I get really excited when people say yes. And I see that they're in this horrible state. So, like, they're in this, pit of despair, or they're in this, detrimental pattern that's really destroying their lives. And I get so excited, because I've seen the transformation over and over and over again. And so I
Mm.
get lit up, right?
Yeah, and it's a fucked up thing to say. Like, hey, I got lit up because like it's like, hey, you're going through something shitty, but I know and I can see that pathway beyond this, and you're going to it's like you're going to feel enthusiasm for this too, that this happened, because if it didn't, you may not be where you are right now, where you're about to go into and what you're about to learn about yourself and unpack. And so I'm gonna like I'm so excited to talk about plant, because I know I'm I'm getting curious about wanting to do a journey again. And there's a couple of ways that my mind is like, which direction do I want to go in with this conversation? Because I can talk about the journey that I experienced before, and I will say that very quickly, I learned more doing one journey with plant and psilocybin in that guided with actual with retreat professionals. Learn more about myself in that one weekend and experience or one day with them than I had in my almost my entire life. Like I unpacked so much. To this day, I am still doing integration work that happens because of it. Just in the podcast I was just recording a few hours ago, I was like, holy shit, something came up. And I'm like, this happened in plant like a while ago. And then the other way that my brain kind of goes into right now, because I would love to do it again one day. And I made a post about it recently, but I'm sober now. One of the things that plant showed me before was that like it showed me that accountability piece, that I was in that disease state of addictive behavior just as much as like my family was, that darkness was, all of that. I was just as much as a product and, a creator of that environment. And I'm sober living now. And I think I would like to do that journey with plant again, but does that impact my sobriety or any of those kind of things? Like these are the questions that are kind of playing around my mind right now. And I wonder if other people out there listening are thinking like those kind of things too when they hear about plants, like and like what to do. But I'm like, it showed me so much shit, so much stuff, and I wanted to keep learning from it. So I'm just like I get curious about it, and I wonder if there's something like from doing plants and people that you've worked with doing this, is there something that they learn when they start doing this, that this starts to like just starts to propel them forward and is like, let's do this, like let's keep going, and what's helping them learn as they're doing this journey with you?
Every single journey that I've ever guided has been completely different from any other journey. And what people learn in ceremony is who they are, right? And that knowledge of who I am then it activates this lifelong integration process. So you will always be integrating what you learned in plant ceremony when you step into plant ceremony with the intention of healing and with reverence,
Mhm.
right? So we just move forward. And it's this integration really is this process of becoming more authentic, courageous honesty again and again and again and again. How much more can I be? Right. And it's not linear because we're constantly bombarded with challenges and how to be ourselves. We're constantly bombarded with expectations, with obligations, with roles put on us. And we have to discern all of the time, do I take this on? How far do I go with this obligation or with this role or with this mask or with this whatever? It's not that we can stay out of those things all the time because we're human. So we're going to embrace the human experience, which is messy. But the integration is remembering to not self-abandon yourself, right? Over and over and over again.
Mhm. You can't hide from plants. Like when you're in it, like I don't know anyone that's ever been able to like you can't beat plants. Like plant is going to show you what it's going to show you. And I don't know how prepared I was for seeing all of that stuff. Like it was magical, it was messy, it was all of the things. But I had to like it was so interesting the way that my intention for that journey back then, and I'll give people some context, and it might light up it might get you curious to do a journey yourself or whatever is happening. But for me, I wanted to let go of past versions of myself that no longer served me. That was the intention I set for that day, and holy shit, what a tunnel it took me through. Everybody that was there at that retreat all of a sudden became somebody that I was before or something that I had learned before. And it it was I was in tears in some parts of the day because I didn't want to go into the house because the house represented darkness, and I could hear other people in the house that were crying, they were upset. There was a lot of darkness going on in that house, and I didn't want to go in there. And I managed to get into the house eventually. And what was so interesting is that I was navigating through the house and it was so dark and scary and all of the things. But then I found my room, which was actually very lit up and bright. And it taught me that I could actually find lightness inside all of that darkness. And it was okay to go inside sometimes and get that way. I also saw versions of myself that were in those disease states of addictive behavior. Saw versions of myself that used to fully judge other people. And I saw what a hypocrite and things like that that I could be. And I was like, fuck, I don't like seeing myself in that light. But I had to see that that's actually what I do. And I saw myself as being somebody that tried to fix things all the time and glue things back together. And then there was parts of me that are like, hey, let's just stand and embrace life and let's see all the beauty that's going on. So there were so many moving, intricate parts that were happening on that journey. And I learned so many layers of myself and who I was becoming and what I wanted to let go of and what I really need to still examine about myself. So it's you learn a lot. You can't you can't not learn this shit about yourself when you do these journeys. And what I think is so beautiful is that you're there with people guiding people through this journey and supporting them because like that it's a very vulnerable place to be in. And people are going to see some not so colorful and amazing things about yourself because we're not all as amazing and wonderful and light as we want to be and think that we are. We've all got some shit that we've put a mask on, that we are maybe we've hid over the years. We don't want people to see. We don't want ourselves accept. Like we're all wearing a mask out there. And sometimes I think what plant can do is it can really help us drop the mask and as you said too, like lean into our authentic energy.
Mhm.
So this is so incredible that this is what you do for a fucking living.
You touched on so many things there, like so many things. So, first of all, I love how you described your psychedelic journey with the house and everyone representing you. And that's a really wonderful description of how it feels divinely orchestrated. Like it feels like no creative author could even make this shit up, right? Like the way it's all connected, the way you move through the house, the way you found your lit room, the way it all happened exactly the way that you needed it to happen in order for you to have these profound insights and shed those past versions of you. It is phenomenal how plant medicine works this way and how when we are in that open state of awareness with just receptive to everything, how there is meaning in everything and the synchronicities exist all around us all of the time. Just most of the time we're closed to them. And plant medicine opens it up so that we can really see like, wow, there's actually meaning in all of this happening around us all of the time.
It is, and it's so difficult. I sometimes try to explain my brain and what happened on that journey because this happens in my brain often, but it was heightened even more so unplanned. I can have thousands of imagery happen in my brain at once. We're talking right now, and I'm also highlight reeling shit that happened to me in childhood, stuff that just happened to me earlier this morning. And this stuff is all playing in the background, but here I am having a present conversation. And I don't sometimes know how to translate the images that flash to my brain into words. It feels like a totally different language. And I'm like, I'm not doing a good enough job explaining what happened. But you're right. Like when you go through plant, and I feel like a long time ago, I had a hard time finding words and expressing words, they would get caught. And plant really showed me these, like everything had meaning to it. The things that I saw, if I saw a mushroom, I saw a beautiful bald eagle. I saw rainbows everywhere. I saw symbols and compasses. I saw so many things that translated and had a meaning to something that happened in my life that only my highlight reels in my brain can actually make sense of. And it was incredibly overwhelming, but also not too. And I had the one of the retreat guiders, like the guides, she cut cords for me that day. She used Reiki and she did cord cutting. And I just remember all of these versions of myself she was cutting, people in my life that I can that the relationship had shifted and the energy was there. And I just saw these beautiful strings of light coming behind me and just severed. I was like, done. It's like, and I felt so light after that. And I felt so purpose and so clear after doing this journey. It was outstanding. It was wonderful to go back to that word that you use. It is wonderful to
It
do
is
this, but
wonderful.
it was yeah, it was and everybody's journey is so different. I did this with a friend too, and hearing her experience and her journey and then being there together where some of our journeys met up that day. It was so fun. And it was heartbreaking too at the same time. Like I don't even know how to, if those are the right words to describe it, but it was heartbreaking but fun. And I was lit up, but also like, holy shit, like this is actually who I am. And I couldn't unsee it after that. I could never go back to who I was. I could never fucking go back to who I was after that journey. And that was 3 or 4 years ago, I think that was now. And I'm still to this day doing integration work that happened from that journey with plant. It's profound. It's incredible. Like, have you ever watched Twilight? Bella? Like, have you remember Twilight?
Forever ago, yeah.
You remember when she turns into a vampire and everything is heightened and she can see everything and everything's glowing and glistening? I'm like, that's what it's like, guys. You can see it.
Yeah, you can't,
And
yeah, you're right. You
everything.
can't unsee it. You can't unsee it. And you're right, it is wonderful and it is heartbreaking. And it's so interesting because I've had a few clients, there's one in particular that's coming to mind right now, and man, the mushrooms just plunged her right into darkness, like immediately right into darkness, and she was scared, right? And I'm there and I said, take my hand. We're doing this together. I'm here with you, right? I can see in the dark. I move like water in the dark. You're safe. And because we have established solid trust ahead of time, she was able to relax into it. But by the time the journey was coming to an end, she was so sad that it was almost over. She's like, oh, like we're coming to an end now, and I just wanted to keep going. So it was so interesting to see how, like, at first, she's like, oh God, what have I got myself into? I don't want to do this. This is scary. To, oh geez, it's over. I don't want this to end. It's so good. It's both.
Those
It's both
two
time.
it's both things can totally coexist, and that's what's so bananas about doing a journey with plant, because it you could be smiling and happy and seeing rainbows and the next minute you're fucking sobbing, or the next you're in the bathroom having the best poop of your life. Like I like it could just like it's there's so many things that happen. And I love that. Okay, the feeling of scared is not a great feeling for a lot of us. Fear, it just takes over, it washes over us, it panic rises up, all these things. But to have had somebody with you through that has sent intentions and can call you back into that and to can help you feel safe as you explore this feeling that is not a great feeling to experience. There's there's so much beauty in that. And then to not want it to be over and say, hey, I'm not actually done unpacking or unraveling this because I feel like I'm just getting started and getting into this now. And why is the ride over? It's like a roller coaster, right? Fucking terrifying. You feel like you're gonna fall out of the seat. But then at the end of it, you're like, oh my gosh, let's go do that again. Like,
I
why?
was exhilarating.
It was exhilarating, right? It's like, why am I going to go do this again? Why do I want to feel that again? Because I was terrified that climb going up into it, and then you pivot and you're like, there goes my stomach, or lunch for some people, and whatever has happened. But it's just
Mhm.
like so many things can happen. And this is why working with somebody that can hold your hand, like you literally held her fucking hand as
Yeah,
she went through that, held her hand and was like, hey, we are prepared for this. We know what to do through this. Let's
yeah,
see this through and let's
totally. And
go and do it.
the beautiful thing about that too, like that experience that we're talking about, it's all coming back to memory here. And she was scared of the darkness going in, and there was this real fear. It was like a Christian hell, basically, is what she was put into. And so she was afraid of the devil down there. She was afraid of the demons and what might be down there. But when through the guidance with her, we were able to relax into the darkness, and I was able to help her establish that she is actually safe in the darkness. And it's okay to let's look around down there. Let's see what we can find. And we found a part of her that had been banished into the darkness, a child part of her who had been down there scared all by herself. And so she was able to um, rescue, right? And reconcile this banished part of her back into her being and bring it back up to the surface and reintegrate this part into who she is. So the thing about the darkness is the diamonds are down there. Like that's where the diamonds are. That's where we find the best insights. So it can be scary, but that's what's exhilarating about it is then you find this treasure and you're like, wow, that's really exciting. And now I get to be more whole than I was a moment ago.
Oh my gosh. I love the analogy of the diamond. I love the analogy of going into the darkness too, because we do need to go into the darkness too. And there's safe spots in there because we are going to find some glimmers
It's
once in
all
a while.
you.
Like it is going to
It's
happen. It's there's going to be there. It's like when I was going through that journey with plant, like I was outside, it was so beautiful. I was standing because that was a big part of my journey too. I wanted to have movement and stand because I couldn't do that for so many years. And as soon as I turned around, there would be a dark overcast over this house, which by the way was a fucking gorgeous house and beautiful house. I loved that house before plant, still love it after. But for some reason, that house became dark because the crying energy and all of this stuff that was happening. And I'm like, I don't want to go inside. It was like avoidance for me. I did not want to go inside. I was struggling and I was fighting it. And I did not want to go in because I thought, no, I'm going to be so sad in there. It's too dark. It's too scary. I don't want to fucking see any of this stuff. But I managed to get inside and I felt like a little detective. I was like, just go find that light. Just go find, like, get in there. And I found through the house and tunnel and found my way into the room. And the room was just so lit up and the sun was coming down. And then I remember being in the room and thinking, I want to find the bottle spray, the water spray bottle that my friend had brought. And I don't know where it is. I was like, if only she would come in here and I could find the water spray. Then doesn't she fucking come into the room? And I'm like, am I this powerful that I can fucking summon somebody into this space with me and bring her in? And there she was. And she came in and she was like, I need the water bottle. It's like, that's what I was looking for too. How did you know that? And she was just there with me and we were both in there giggling and laughing and finding like we were just having so much fun, but then we got shushed by some of like our retreat facilitators because some people were like it's too they're laughing up there and we're trying to cry and doing all this stuff, but like then we got to assert our boundaries and we found our voice and being like, hey, we're allowed to laugh and have fun and be playful and do these things. So even that was like a quest. It was like a challenge for us to do this. And then it was like she was gone. And that's when I also went to the bathroom and had the best poop of my life. So that's where that came in because I was literally releasing shit after that.
yeah,
So
something like a good release. And I love how you talked about the laughter too, because laughter is equally healing. Actually, I think it's even more healing. So a lot of the people will be in this space with me. This is my ceremony cabin. A lot of people will be in this space with me, bawling their eyes out, and that is super healing. But when we get to the laughing, that's when the real change happens because it's almost like reframing, it's rewiring. It's like the best part of any journey is when a client is in here crying and they say something about what a terrible person they are or something like that. And I get to call them out on their bullshit. And I get to say, yeah, but is that true? Like, look at this, right? And then they laugh because they see how ridiculous it is. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe I even said that. I can't believe I even thought that about myself. And we start laughing. And it's just like, there you go, limiting belief gone. And we just laughed it away.
just laugh it away. You can just laugh it away and just giggle away. And like it's just so freeing and it's so playful and fun, right? It's just like, oh my gosh, are we hearing how funny this sounds? Like, can we do away with that perspective? Can we do with whatever bullshit like advice we were told, or how we had the rule that we had to follow when we were younger, or do our society says? Can we just fucking do away with that and just see how funny, or the programming that we do in our own brains, that whenever I hear somebody say I can't do this, I can't change my schedule, I can't do that. I'm like, you know how like we feel like, because we maybe it's the people pleasing or whatever else comes into us, and we're like, oh my gosh, I can't do that because then they're not going to like me, or I'm it's disrespectful to their day or whatever. And it's just like, hey, we can actually just ask and just see how that feels. And 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to be like, yeah, no problem. Let's reschedule. Let's do this, like whatever, right? But we get into our brain so much and it just feels like icky to do, but then we laugh about it. Oh my gosh. So I wonder if like we've actually talked about this question that I asked, because I asked this question and I say, what are your clients usually most surprised by after working with you? And we've unpacked a lot of those things, but maybe you have more of a direct answer for that. But like, what are your clients usually most surprised by after when they're working with you?
Yeah, so there are two things. One of them we did touch on already, which is just exactly how much of a role they played in creating their life and their situation, including the detriment of their situation. So like the power that we hold and how we contribute to things. And that's it. It's a sort of a sharp edge to walk on, because it's not victim blaming. It's not like bad things happen to you and it's your fault. It's not that at all. It's just that when we realize how much we've allowed people to impact us, or how we played into certain ideas of ourselves, or how we participated, right? And it can feel really disgusting when you see it for the first time. So there's that piece. But then the piece that they're actually most surprised about is that they had everything they needed the entire time. Every single thing that they needed to heal was already within them. They had the answers. They have all of it already residing within their very being. And sometimes they're even surprised to find how wonderful their life is, because they come in thinking life is terrible and they come out going, wow, my life is actually pretty amazing.
Yes. And yes, because so much of healing happens like looking at our accountability, looking in the mirror, and realizing what it is that we are responsible for contributing that perpetuates these things that we are unhappy with and doing. And then right after, when you learn to just accept and take ownership and take accountability, which are fucking hard things to do, then it's like, oh my gosh, yes, then people are like, my life actually isn't that horrible, and I actually do have a lot of the answers, and I just wasn't figuring, I didn't have the right perspective, or I didn't have the right words to communicate this, or like imagery or any of those things to just knock the shit off of what it was that I was going through or thinking about. And it's like, oh wow, I can actually get through this and I actually like my life. Or you can make the change to do what it is that you want to do to have the life that you're wanting. And, maybe it's like I can't count how many times I've taken risks in my life over the last few years, because I've dedicated myself to having that life. And that's what I want to do. So it's like, okay, it's time to get away with the things that are standing in my way of having that. And I know everything I need to fucking do. And I'm still setting that up for myself. So when something isn't working or happening, I need to look at and examine my own shit and what I am responsible for doing. So yes,
Right?
you said it much more eloquently than and I was dropping the S bombs and whatever else was happening. But that's what goes on. And like, this brings me into this part of the podcast that I freaking love. And um it's so much, there's so many synchronicities with this, with doing a journey with plant as well, because you don't know what the fuck can happen. You don't actually know what's going to happen. You think you can control a journey with plant. You can't control it. You don't know where it's going to go and what it's going to show you. And you have to trust that it's showing you what it needs to show you, and you're going to be ready to receive it, especially if you're working with somebody that can help you do those things. But the pivots that happen, good fucking luck. You can never make this shit up about what's actually going to happen and what's going to transpire. So I called this part in the podcast the wellness isn't linear WTF wheel, because it's not. Like, absurd, random, fuckety human things happen to us all of the time. We can be going along in our life thinking everything's great and whatever else, living in our bubble, and then boom, something happens in your life, job loss, like, maybe you find out you have a debilitating disease, or something has happened and it just pivots you. Something happens to a family member. Anything could happen. Your job, like any of the things, so many fucking things. We all know the things that happen in life that just, oh, what the hell was that? And that happened. So what I do for this part is I spin a wheel, and it's wellness isn't linear wheel, and I get the robots to come up with the questions for us, because the robots have integrated into our lives somehow between ChatGPT and Claude and all the other good ones. So I let them come up with the questions that we should talk about, and I spin a wheel, and then we decide we're going to talk about that question. And I don't know, sometimes I end up talking about fucking one time I think the wheel spun and we ended up talking about a plant medicine journey. So this is so funny, but now I'm talking with the plant medicine healer. So I'm like, I don't know which way it's going to go. Or it could be a very deep and profound question, and we could be trying to figure out, I don't know, maybe we're leaning into like what kind of nap we like and when we want to have a nap. Who freaking knows? So
Let's see what
I'm
happens.
we're gonna see what happens. I've got a glare happy in my screen, but I'm gonna figure out where this wheel is on here, and I'm gonna spin it. Where is this thing? Okay, share. Can you see it okay?
Yep, I got it.
Okay. All right, let's spin it. It's gonna be one of possible 6 questions. Let's see where it goes. Got good music, right? These picker wheels. What is this question? Okay, so like, what is the dumbest thing that made you cry recently?
Oh,
What is the
geez.
dumbest thing that made you cry recently?
Oh, I mean, I cry all the time. I'm such a crier. So probably something pretty dumb. The dumbest thing that made me cry. Oh, I mean, seriously, I cry like every day. So I'm trying to think of yesterday. Did I cry yesterday? I'll cry to songs. Like there's this song that I listen to. Actually, this song that I like to listen to, it's called Golden Child by Jennifer Pereira, and Jennifer Pereira was my psychedelic guide. And she wrote this song, and I have started to make it part of my morning routine. So I listen to this every morning because it's beautiful, and it's a the lyrics are amazing affirmations. And so yesterday morning I cried listening to it because it it like lifts you up and it reminds you of who you are, and it gives you this power of like, okay, I was meant to do this. This work is hard. This work is hard. And for me to do this work, I have to show up in my authenticity over and over and over again. And sometimes I question whether I'm going to be able to help this person who's come to me. And every single time I do, and I do it because I was designed for this since birth. And that's one of her lyrics in the song. And I do it because I'm devoted to goddess. I'm devoted to the unfolding of this life and a more harmonic future. And this song is such a beautiful reminder every single morning of that. Like it's like my talk.
I gotta listen to this song. I have got to integrate this into my life too. I fucking love crying. I love crying. I think it's so good. I am a crybaby. I admit this all the time, but I think it's even more meaningful and powerful that she was also your guide.
She was
And
my guide. Mhm.
come
Yeah,
on. So it's like
yeah.
now you're hearing song, and songs hit us in a way sometimes that words do not, right? And that melody that goes, and the way, if you're saying that the affirmations and can help. I gotta listen to this song.
Yeah, it's
I've
called
got to
Golden
listen to it.
Child.
Okay.
Jennifer
Okay.
Pereira. She's on Spotify, Apple, all the things. You find her anywhere.
Yes. Golden Child. Okay. All right. I'm gonna give it a listen. And that seems kind of fitting as well, because I think you're out in BC, right? So I think I always think of Golden. I always think of Golden BC or things like that when you're out in Golden. And it's also just I don't know. Out west has different fucking energy, people. If you have not been out west, you need to go out west. I still remember going to my first time out west was on Vancouver Island. I've only actually been once. I need to get my ass back out. I'm going to come out there. I'm going to find you.
Yeah,
We're going to
bring
sit
me.
down and do a journey. Um, but that uh that island, whoa, I have never been in a place more magical than Vancouver Island. I have not. Yeah, yeah,
So
I have
that's where
not.
I am. I'm on Quadra Island, which is off of Campbell River, which is North Vancouver Island. That's where I
Oh
am.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. I'm gonna like I've said this to friends, right? And I want to like have these podcasts feel like I'm talking to fucking friends. But quick side story about Vancouver. Maybe I don't know, maybe it's not appropriate, whatever. I'll share it. I don't care. I remember doing an edible. This is before my sobriety, and I did an edible out on Vancouver Island. And I remember seeing this place called a unicorn farm, and I saw that it was a meat. I don't even know what it was. It was a meat butcher or something like this. And I was on this edible later in the week, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I called my sister. It was New Year's Eve, and I said, "I figured it out." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "I figured it out." I said, "I know why Vancouver Island is so magical." And I'm like, "They're taking all the unicorns, and they're butchering them, and all the remains are going into the ecosystem, and that's why it's so pretty and magical here." And she's like, "Stop doing edibles. Like, just stop." I was like, but I'm like, it's so pretty. It's gorgeous there. It's fucking stunning. And it's magical. So obviously they're taking all the unicorns because I haven't seen any because, BC is getting them all,
Yeah,
obviously. So I don't even,
we've got all
like,
the unicorns and orcas.
yes, all of the orcas, like the two orcas they weren't even supposed to be there. It was like January and we were off at this, we went to go see the springs near Tofino, like in Tofino. Oh, and there's two. I was like the whales. I was like, this is so cool here. What's happening here? These little group of otters. I'll never remember. I'll never forget it. We were on a boat and going out to the boat, and there's these otters all just kicking their feet up in a circle, and we just ruined their day because we drove by them, and we were never supposed to know that that's what they were doing out there in the but that we caught them, and now now we know what they do. I know how playful and cute the otters are, just in a circle
Oh yeah,
hanging
they're
around.
ridiculous.
They're adorable. So this is
They're
what's
so
happening.
adorable.
Everybody just get out to Vancouver. I'm so envious that that's where you get to, like, that's where you're choosing to live. I need to get my ass out there. I need to get this car and just drive it out west. Maybe I should do that right
Yeah, that's
after.
where I am. So I do work with people from all over the world, and how that works is we do 3 weeks preparation on Zoom, and then they come to me. So you stay in my guest trailer on Quadra Island for 3 nights while we journey, and then you go home and we continue integration virtually. But that's how the journeys happen.
We are going to chat for sure. I hope everybody is getting your contact information after this and it just blows up and it's, oh my gosh, this is so cool that you do this, that this is what you do. So 3 weeks, all of that, that's amazing work to do for preliminary stuff to get people ready, by the way. That's
Yeah.
incredible that that's what you do to support people to get ready. No wonder the gal in the darkness was ready for it. She knew your voice, you were there, you could hold her, like she was ready. You built the rapport. She trusted you to guide her.
Yeah, yeah. If I could share a little bit more about that, because
Yes.
I created this hypnosis journey. It's called the True Reflections Hypnosis Journey. I'm a hypnotherapist. And so the way we prepare is the first 3 weeks, you're listening to a recorded hypnosis track. That's me talking, preparing you for journey. And then we also meet live one-on-one like this. So for 3 weeks, you're learning to relax to the sound of my voice. You're learning to relax to the sound of the hypnosis music in the background. And you're learning how to put yourself out of your mind and into your body. So establishing that self-trust too. So the 3 tracks teach you how to relax deeply, how to trust your body, mind, and emotions. And then the third track is already excavating. So we start to excavate things and bring things to the surface so that by the time you come to ceremony with me, you're ready. Like you're ready to meet whatever comes up. You have connected with your self energy, that innate healing inside of you. We have established deep trust between us, but most importantly, you have began to access that inner light, so that when things come up and a part of you comes up that is scary or that you don't like, you can meet it with that light. And that's the key. That's where healing happens, when you meet yourself and can receive yourself. That's the magic. So that's why
Gosh.
preparation is so important.
Preparation's important, the journey is important, and the
And
integration work
integration. Yeah.
work after is incredibly important. Like it's a really a three. It's a lot of time with like, and it's your voice is incredible to listen to. I remember when we got on camera and you were just so grounded, and then you spoke, and I thought, yep, I'm gonna really just feel like, because I can sometimes be up here and I'm like I felt so much calmer as soon as I was in your presence there. So imagine having 3 weeks with you building that up and then all the integration week after. That's
Oh, thank
incredible.
you, man. That's so nice. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Wow. Thank you for doing everything you're doing and being so open, because I know sometimes this is a topic that, well, now people are going to know about the unicorns in BC and knows what happens when Amanda was on edibles. But hey, it is what it is. No, but don't tell anyone. It's fine. Yeah, it is what it
Yes,
is.
listeners.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I want, before I end the podcast, I always ask one more question. And before, after that too, I want people to be able to get in touch with you to know how you do your coaching services, all of that. But before we do that, um, I like to ask the question about the name of the show, like, which is, what does wellness be up mean to you in your own words?
Well, this might make me cry. It means a lot to me because I suffered from depression for about 20 years of my life. And so wellness me up to me, I remember the feeling of being down in the depths of the pit of despair, is what I called it. And rising up out of that pit to a level place, but then also going further and further and further up to find joy and fulfillment and even bliss. So wellness me up is like, yeah, let's lift each other up into the light and even further. How high can we go? How bright can we be? Right. And I want all the people to be wellnessed up into the light and above, right? Let's all elevate. Let's do it together. Let's take each other's hands and rise.
That might make me cry too. Yeah. Yep. Because I think so many of us with the wellness stuff is that comes from this place of darkness. It comes from this place of not being able to talk about it. It comes from this place of not knowing what to do, where to get help, how to just feel better, any of it. And to just, I like the visual of just somebody's hand reaching down and just let's pull you up. Let's bring you up here. Come up here, hang out with us a little bit. You're gonna feel a little bit better every time you start doing these things, right? And it's just going to keep leveling you up, and then there's going to be a lot more light around you. Everybody's answers are so fucking cool for this question. Like, um, yeah, thank you for that. And for the cries that I'll have a cry later and just be a sobbing mess and it's going to be fine. And I'll be like, that's fine. That's what I'm crying about today. It's a good thing to cry about. Yeah.
I think to cry. Oh, absolutely.
So if they want to, everybody's like, okay, I want to try out this plant. I want to feel what this can do for me. I want to discover bits about myself. I want to discover the parts of me that are already within me, but just know how to apply that stuff once I can start, owning and going through this journey. And I want to feel safe, because Danae, you make me feel safe by listening, and I feel very accepted. So if they want to work with you and have the 3 weeks before, get out to fucking Vancouver. I like get out to BC. You should, and then go
Yeah.
through the journey and do the integration work. How do they get in touch with you about your coaching services and what you do?
Thank you. So my website is ecosophiewellness.com, and maybe we can post some links because ecosophy is a weird word. And there are a couple of different ways to work with me. So you could go to my website and book a cohesion call, and we could just have a quick chat to see if we're a fit for each other. But whether or not you're coming to do a plant journey with me, or you're going down south to do ayahuasca, or you're going to be going to a clinic to do ketamine, you definitely should check out my free training, which is called The Preparation Gap. It's 7 myths that undermine your psychedelic healing. And then in October, around October sometime, I'll be launching a program called Before the Medicine. So that again is for anybody who's stepping into deep healing in any kind of way whatsoever. It is preparation for deep healing using the hypnosis that I was talking about.
Incredible.
Mhm.
Incredible. And this will come out long before October. So people will be able to get in touch and sign up all of the things for this. Amazing. Okay. I know we're going to have a kick-ass conversation after I hit end record, but if there's anything that you're like, oh, I wish I had said that, or you want to express to anyone listening about you, what you offer, any of the things, anything bubbling up in your brain?
I know we had such a great
I
conversation. I
know.
think I feel complete.
I do too. I do too. I feel like it was a great I love this shit. I love hitting record on these conversations. It is so good. Thank you very, very much, Danae, for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Amanda. Thanks so much.
Okay, everyone, here's to getting a little bit more wellness up one episode at a time. We will catch you next time.